Alright, so we're back for another match. We have lost the die roll. Not a big deal. I think we can keep this. I would not like to mulligan. We're ended up cycling this Baron War, which I know seems awkward because we have so many expensive cards in our deck, and one of them is in our hand, but we're also playing a ton of land for this reason. I want to hit my land drops. I want to play a deck that allows me to hit my land drops. Oh, looks like we've got blue-green Tron. For reference, I don't think this is the like. Oh, whoa! We've just got all colors of Tron. I don't think this is the optimal way to play Tron, but if I were to play Tron, this is how I would play it. I think you want the red for Rolling Thunder, blue for counterspells, and I think you also want green for things like Explore and Ancient Stirrings. I think Tron's a pretty good deck. I like Tron. I like where Tron's at. I think Tron has improved. Since more people have started looking at it. Obviously, it was just worse than Cloudpost. So no one played it before the banning. But it's good. It's still basically the same, but you don't get all the insane life gain you got off Glimmerpost. See, yeah, boo. Who draws more cards now? It's Muldrifter. Just the Drifterist. The Explorer is huge here. I really like Explorer. I might just build this deck. I might ask this dude for his list. Any deck that lets me play Explorer and like 3, 4, 5 colors. How could I say no to that? That basically pushes all my buttons. Um, some people are gonna say, Grandpa, what were you doing? Why are you so bad? Why didn't you just like use a removal spell on the Rager, or place serrated arrows and force him to whatever. Whoa. We'll get back to that in a second. We have more threats than he does, and we have less removal in game one than we will later. So if he gets to like Crusher or Fangren Marauder, we need to save our removal for those spells because we can't actually beat that unless we have a removal spell. And we're going to get more action later. This is the lamest Grey Merchant of all time, but that's fine. Grey Merchant for 2. It happens some non-zero percentage of the time. Not real worried. Obviously, now that our opponent has assembled the full Tron and has 7 cards in hand, I don't think that we're I wouldn't say that we're advantaged in this game. Yeah, that's fine. This is what I'm talking about. I can't afford to use a removal spell on a Muldrifter. And, trading straight up for Muldrifter, that always feels bad. Because there's no real way to do that. Like, he drew 2 cards, I drew 1 card, and then we trade off, so he's just up a card. And I'm down 1 life. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Is he going to bounce this Ulamog's Crusher? That'd feel pretty brutal. Condescend. X is 4. I cannot pay 4 to prevent that. Yeah, so in this scenario, if we'd use a removal spell on his Muldrifter, we are dead straight up to Crusher. He counters 1, and we just die. Now, he needs Dispel or Spell Pierce as one of his holdings. Okay. Oh, God. I need to pay more attention. I just whiffed an attack. I apologize. We'll try to tighten it up here. Oh, man. Luckily, serrated arrows. Serrated arrows. You don't see this happening too much, guys. You really do not. Corrupt for like the full amount. Kaboom. Oh man, he's gonna ruin it. Don't ruin it. Don't do it, bro. Condescend X is 2. Yeah. Well, I was excited for a little while. I almost had a moment. Yeah, so now we're probably just dead. Doesn't look like that missed attack last turn is going to matter. We're just going to get beat to death by Crusher. We're going to arrow him and then sack the arrows and or sack the arrows in a swamp. And we're not blocking. We have a lot of life here, so we can take some damage. And I think the only real way we get back in this game is to race. You know, like we just have to draw a removal spell or try and race him. Ooh, that's good. So we can put multiple permanents in play here. Generate some card advantage. Attack for 2. Oh, Sign in Blood's not great. I don't know if we really have time for this kind of stuff. We need permanents. We need permanents to sack to Annihilator or removal spells. So next turn, we're kind of hoping to draw land, either naturally or off the Sign in Blood. And drawing a removal spell from there. You know, just all the lands we draw are free Annihilator triggers, so we can keep our creatures in play. Wow, yeah, Crusher's just so good. Who's this guy? Baklava Jr.? Baklava is a food, right? Like, does food have kids? Okay. So we did draw that land that we wanted. We attack for 6 here. He goes to 9. And we can Great Merchant for 4, 5, 6, 7. Are we doing it? Are we doing it? He bolts. We're effectively not doing it. Although it's probably not. He probably would have bolt the Shooting Rats, I think. Maybe it doesn't matter from his perspective. So we Great Merchant for 6 here. He goes to 5. He can't. Well, he has to attack. And if he has nothing, we win. If he has bolt, we lose. I'm gonna play the Great Merchant and try to race. No bolt. No bolt. Don't you bolt that Shooting Rats. Don't you do it. Don't you bolt that Shooting Rats. That's some expert level commentary right there. Beg your opponent as if it were a dog, not to kill your creature. Not very classy on my part. Yep, so he attacks. We sacrifice our lands. The game, for some reason, continues to ask us what order we want our swamps in. We get hit. And does he have a thing? He can Petals of Insight. This card is pretty good. It's extremely expensive in a format like Pauper, but represents. Oh wow, wowie zowie, wowie zowie. Indeed, Mole Drifter, Mole Drifter, just the driftiest Mole Drifter. Nope, can't do it. So ways we can win this game. He doesn't block. Additionally, he blocks, we Sign in Blood him, and he has nothing. He has nothing with 100 mana and like 4 cards. That sucks. Sucks a lot. Hmm. What do we do here? Do we just like play Rager? I think we do. It sucks that this Sign in Blood is just like rotting in our hand. But I think we play Rager. Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, hitting a land drop there is great because we'll be able to sack 2 lands and still Sign in Blood next turn. So we have like a pretty unrealistic shot. Again, we need him to have like he's had stuff so far, but we just need him to have nothing. It's unlikely. He's got 400 mana. Oh, okay. He conceded. Yeah, well, we got there eventually. He shows us our hand, and he does, in fact, run out of gas. All right. Sideboarding. Uh, Tron, I usually really like our matchup against Tron because they don't normally play counterspells. This guy, however, is playing counterspells. So I could bet he's got counterspells and bolt. So this kind of changes our play. Spinning Darkness doesn't kill the things that you want it to kill. You're really not worried about Muldrifter. You're going to be able to fight through that in the long game. What you're worried about are Crushers. And it doesn't look like he was playing the version with a lot of like eggs. So he probably doesn't have Fangren Marauder, so maybe we don't need to overload on removal. But Witches, not good. Where does that leave us? I think Serrated Arrows, also not good. It's probably likely that we want some number of I'll leave some number of Witches in, just because they power up Grey Merchant so much. Yeah, Corrupt, not good. I'm gonna take out the Corrupts and put in the Witches again. I think this is right. The real question, so like we don't want Pestilence. We don't want Spinning Darkness because it doesn't really kill anything. We don't want Corrupt because it doesn't really kill anything except him. But I don't think we have to worry about that. What we're looking to do is use our superior density of removal against his inferior density of threats and just wait him out. We don't need a finisher, as it were. We'll be able to grind them. So the question is, would we rather have additional unearths or additional Quambai Witches? The latter helps power up Grey Merchant, which is one of our like easiest ways to kill. Just Grey Merchant for 8, they're dead. Unearth, they've got Bolt, so they are going to be able to interact with our threats. And if we're going to be unearthing something, we want it to be a value target, not the Quambai Witches. I think I'm going to go 3, or I'm going to put in the full 4 unearths. Yeah, that seems right to me. It means that we're lower on devotion, but I think that's fine. Would not like to mulligan. We're going to be on the draw, but we have a good hand. We get a look at what our opponent is doing here. His draw is slow. He's got Condescend. Oh, wow. Rolling Thunder is just so far away. He's got 0 Tron pieces and no way to find Tron pieces. I feel like taking Condescend is correct, even though he has no blue source, or excuse me, he does have a blue source, even though he has no way to like accelerate his mana. Yeah, I think taking Condescend here, if he gets to the point where he Rolling Thunders our entire board, that's fine. We've got a ton of card advantage in our hand. It doesn't look like his keep was particularly strong. Like he needs to draw both lands and spells in order for this to work. Well, I guess that sort of counts as drawing lands and spells. Yeah, Muldrifter, a great draw for him. But is it good enough? That remains to be seen. Chittering Rats is going to take that card advantage right back from him and leave him in a sticky spot. Oh, he's drawn a Tron piece too. So he has drawn the lands that he needs, at least one of them. But the Chittering Rats just sort of freezes him for a turn. And that's going to favor us because we would like to kill him before he gets a big Rolling Thunder. And he has no Bolt here, which is both good and bad. I think, Bolt Chittering Rats, we unearth the Chittering Rats, is a worse situation for him. I think he's less likely to win from there. But I'm perfectly fine attacking for 2 as many times as he'll let us do it. Yeah, and like this spot, I just love. If we get in for 4 here, we get in for 6 next turn. It's unlikely we lose to Rolling Thunder. His hand was just too slow. Not interactive enough. We have tons of grindy card advantage. Even if he blows us out with Rolling Thunder, we'll get 1 right back, and we are already up 4 free cards anyway, so it's like we're breaking even. And he has a much higher density of like lands, things that don't do anything, expensive slow cards that don't really do anything. Crop rotation is correct. I don't know why Tron decks don't play crop rotation. It's just wrong. Crop rotation should be a 4 of in all their deck lists. Particularly post sideboard, because a lot of decks are going to try and come after their lands. Like I could very easily have a Reign of Tears style effect to try and blow up their land. Crop rotation counters that spell and gets them another Tron piece. It lets them like trade 1 Tron piece for another. Mole Drifter, that is. Mole Drifter is just like the business. I'm going to try and kill this guy before he gets a chance to draw a 2-mana counter. It appears as though it is going to work. Yeah, I'm pretty convinced that we're going to win here. He is going to be able to Rolling Thunder next turn, but he's going to have taken a lot of damage in the process. Because I'm expecting the Rolling Thunder because he basically has to do it now. He can't reasonably expect to take 6 for another turn and not die to Grave Entrance, so he will pull the trigger here. Because of that, I'm not going to play the Chittering Rats. He has a ton of cards in hand, so he does that. We unearth and play Chittering Rats. He's just in the Stone Age. He's so far behind at that point. It's like Plow Under. Chittering Rats, double Chittering Rats is basically just Plow Under. Dosan's oldest chant. You gain 6 life and you draw a card. Right. That's fine. I guess that staves off him needing to cast Rolling Thunder for 1 more turn. But I don't think that's insane. His deck can afford to play an expensive card like this. But he's basically just buying time, and it's unclear that he actually has anything to do with that time. Meanwhile, on our side of the board, we've drawn a ton of lands, and we're still like in a dominant position to win this game. Not many Pauper decks can say that. We drew 8 land and are just miles ahead. And that's why I like this deck so much. I like mono black right now. I like this version of mono black, particularly because it can take advantage of its land drops. We sided out the corrupts, but at some point, and Tron is a good example of where this would be true. If we just draw corrupt extremely late in the game where we've got 10 or 13 lands out, boom, just it can kill them out of nowhere. And yep, I'm fine with all this. He's revealed, or not revealed, like he returned Mole Drifter off Fenraf, which I think was his only option. Oh, wowie zowie. Yeah, I mean, exactly like what we just talked about, except now we also have Grey Merchant backup. And that is the cavalry. Carrier has arrived. He's tanking over whether or not he wants to cry or just concede, probably. I'm just kidding. I need to stop making fun of my opponents. I'm sure that you're a very good person. I like your deck, Mr. Baklava Jr. I will be experimenting with this said deck at some point. Yeah, but he's got to be hating that right now. That can't feel good to get chittered twice. Now he's going to be able to Mold Drifter and buy back some of that time, but if he doesn't kill one of our guys here, Grey Merchant is lethal. You know, combined with an attack step, obviously. All right, he's got value. No one ever said he didn't have value. I did not say you don't have value. Stop taking it so personally. Yeah, I really like this deck. It's probably, like I said earlier, probably not the optimal version of Tron, but it's the version of Tron I would like to see the most. And I haven't played against Mono Black very much without, myself playing Mono Black. I don't know what it's like to just constantly live in fear of Grey Merchant, but whenever we just top deck this card, it's crazy. It is crazy how much damage this does. And a 2/4 is an extremely relevant body. It's 4 toughness is like the high watermark that like you're kind of getting tough to kill. Oh, I just really like where it's at. All right. Well, thank you for watching.